All right, folks, some breaking news right off the top. Beam's cyber sale is now open for early access for my listeners, and it's their best offer of the year. Right now, my homies can get up to 50% off with my code SCROLL. You can grab Dream for just $32.50, and that breaks down to only $1.08 per night for the best sleep of your life. Go to shopbeam.com/scroll and use my code SCROLL, and don't miss out. This is the lowest price Dream has ever been sold anywhere and will likely sell out quickly. Dream is packed with ingredients your body actually needs to sleep. Reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and yes, even melatonin, but dosed intelligently, not like the drugstore garbage that knocks you out and leaves you groggy. So now's the time. Beam is giving my listeners the ultimate Patriot discount. Go to shopbeam.com/scroll and use code SCROLL to get 50% off during Beam's cyber sale. You can grab Dream, again, for just $32.50. But here's the catch. Dream is only available at this price until it sells out. So seriously, think about it. How much would you pay for a truly great night of sleep? With Beam's cyber price, it is just, again, $1.08 per night. So go to shopbeam.com/scroll and try Beam today. All right. Thank you for watching as I have filled in for Vince the last 2 days. It was a lot of fun, and it feels good to be back live in the chair. So big thank you to everyone who watched. And you might be new here. You might have never watched Nightly Scroll before. Maybe you tuned in because you liked what you saw earlier this week. So welcome and thank you. Again, if you are watching on X or on Facebook right now, come on over to Rumble. Rumble.com/Hayley is the only place you can watch Nightly Scroll in full. So, you know, we cover some juicy news off the top and then we have fun later in the show. So it's worth it. Rumble.com/Hayley. Subscribe to the Bongino Report channel. And of course, if you can't catch us live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, you can watch whenever you want. Or you can listen on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen or watch. Make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure that you like it. Make sure that you say nice things about me. Make sure that you send the link to a friend. All of that helps. So thank you. Let's get into what we have on deck tonight. It has been 84 years since the start of the government shutdown, but tonight may mark the end. Also, Democrats released some Epstein emails that mention Trump, and they think it has implicated him somehow. It hasn't. Also, Democrat senators, one of their staffers has posed as a lawyer to help an illegal alien evade deportation. So that's illegal. Also, JFK's unhinged grandson is launching a congressional bid for Jerry Nadler's old seat. And Jasmine Crockett's spending habits on pricey hotels in Vegas and elsewhere are raising some eyebrows. Also, a Japanese woman actually did it. She married an AI avatar in a real ceremony. So congratulations to this mentally ill woman and the figment of her imagination. We're covering all that and so much more on this episode of Nightly Scroll. Put your phones on Do Not Disturb. It starts now. Shutdown may be one step closer to coming to an end. We might be nearing the end of the government shutdown. The House is reportedly in the voting process right now as we speak. So if something happens, please fill me in as the show goes on. But the official vote should start tonight around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right when we're off air, of course. But Congressman Steve Scalise was asked about this earlier, and he predicted that there would be, extensive debate, which, that tracks. But I am hoping that they come to an agreement tonight, and that I have some good news for you about the reopening of the government tomorrow. But as it stands, the government is still shut down. And that means reporters are just itching to blame Trump and the Trump administration, although they really have nothing to do with the shutdown. They can't, wave a magic wand and fix it. They can't wave a magic wand and reopen it, even if they wanted to. But still, they're trying to get Trump. And earlier in the week, the California gubernatorial candidate on the left side, Katie Porter, she tried blaming Trump with all these flight issues, air traffic control. She was blaming Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy and the Trump administration as a whole, claiming that they're letting private flights in and out, but they're, wreaking havoc on the lives of all the normal people who are taking commercial flights. And Sean Duffy shut her down because that's not what's happening. And now here's another reporter asking Sean Duffy again about the same thing and getting shut down again. Watch this.
Did you fly here today on a private plane? Did I fly here on a private? I wish. By the way, had I flown on a private plane, I would not have landed here at O'Hare because we have restrictions at LAX, Seattle, Denver, O'Hare, Boston, Newark, JFK, Atlanta, Dallas. You can't fly a private aircraft into those airports, the top 12. With some small exceptions to that rule, you can't fly in a private aircraft. So no one's flying in here, but for those small exceptions. We've reduced private jet travel or general aviation by 10%, as well as if there are delays in the system, cancellations in the system, we've also put in restrictions that say commercial aircraft take a priority.
And this is all in line with what he had said in response to Katie Porter earlier in the week. Nothing has changed. So either this reporter who asked him this question is either not paying attention or she's trying to get him with a gotcha where, you know, he said that private flights are not taking priority, but let's see if he took a private flight here. And it didn't work. She tried the gotcha. It didn't work. And now she looks dumb. And despite the government being shut down, Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, they were able to fetch 20,000 documents obtained from Epstein's estate. So it's so interesting. You know, they claim that they can't get anything done, and then all of a sudden they get stuff done. It's, you know, they're just lying, basically. But anyway, there were 3 emails that referenced Trump. Allegedly, right? I have not been able to independently verify these emails, but these are the emails that have been released, and it's been released by Congress. I'll leave it at that. But here's the first email. So in 2011, Jeffrey Epstein was emailing Ghislaine Maxwell, and he said, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump." And then the victim's name is redacted, but victim spent hours at my house with him, has never once been mentioned. Interesting. And Ghislaine Maxwell replied to that email saying, "I have been thinking about that." Now, the unnamed victim in this email is reportedly Virginia Giuffre, who is no longer with us. And she has repeatedly said when she was alive that President Trump did not do anything wrong, not in front of her. She said that he couldn't have been friendlier, and that basically the fact remains that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for being creepy to Virginia and other women who worked there. So basically, in a court deposition, when she was alive, of course, Virginia said that she didn't even think that Trump had any knowledge of Epstein's misconduct with underage girls, just the fact that he was being creepy to people at his club, and he didn't like that. But she also said that she worked as a spa attendant at Mar-a-Lago and that her dad actually introduced her to Trump. And, you know, why would Trump take advantage of one of his friend's daughters? Like, why would he do that? Why would he cross the line with one of the members or someone who worked there? And why would Virginia cover for Trump, right? Like, if this is true, you know, or if it was true that President Trump was like this huge creep or whatever, like, why wouldn't she say that? You know, she's willing to speak out against Jeffrey Epstein. Why wouldn't she just lay it all out on the table, right? So she has nothing bad to say about Trump. And it's not only her. Other members of Epstein's staff said in sworn depositions that they had never seen Trump do anything wrong either. So email 1 doesn't prove anything at all. Now, here's the second email. This is from Michael Wolff to Jeffrey Epstein on Tuesday, December 15th, 2015. And Michael Wolff is a journalist, and he said this: "I hear CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in scrum afterwards." And Jeffrey Epstein replied, "If we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be?" And Michael Wolff said, I think you should let him hang himself, which is a crazy thing to read in 2025. Just hearing that language, someone emailing Jeffrey Epstein, I think you should let him hang himself. I mean, it's wild. But anyway, Michael Wolff says, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him, again, in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey's a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. Now, I can't believe that this conversation is happening over email. People are just sloppy as hell. It's crazy that you wouldn't just have a phone call. Not that, the government can't tap people's phones, but it's crazy that people are like so reckless.
I mean, never mind email. He's using a Gmail.
Right.
This is his grand sex empire is going through Google's servers.
Right.
Unencrypted Google servers.
Yeah. I mean, it is. And I guess Signal and Telegram, that was all a thing.
For sure.
Around this time.
I think AOL promises some bit of there's companies that promise way better privacy than Google does.
Right.
Google's like, hey guys, we read your emails.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So again, this is very sloppy, but this exchange to me says way more about Jeffrey Epstein than it does about Trump. Jeffrey Epstein was very obviously concerned about Trump winning the election and what information Trump had on Jeffrey Epstein and what was going to come out about Jeffrey Epstein, not the other way around. Jeffrey Epstein was concerned about Jeffrey Epstein. That's it. Now, the third email was in 2019. And this is, again, journalist Michael Wolff. This is Epstein to Michael Wolff. And Epstein wrote this. Victim's name redacted, so we don't know who he's talking about, but it just says Mar-a-Lago. And then another part of this email is redacted. And then it says, Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. So this is just more proof that President Trump knew that Jeffrey Epstein was a creep with girls and didn't want him anywhere near Mar-a-Lago. Just because he was never a member, allegedly, according to Jeffrey Epstein, doesn't mean that Trump didn't want him there. So, this is like semantics, but obviously Trump was telling Jeffrey Epstein, I don't want you here. Whether you're a member or not, don't come. You're not welcome, right? So this doesn't really get Trump in the way that I think Democrats think that this does. Yes, his name is in these emails, but he's not doing anything wrong. The only thing that makes Trump look bad is that he allegedly knew what was happening, tried to stop it, but didn't say anything. But also, if you go back to read that email, that language, it says, of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Know about the girls? Maybe that's the girls that worked at Mar-a-Lago. But then again, with Ghislaine Maxwell, maybe that means that Trump knew that there was some kind of sex trafficking thing going on. Again, we don't know, right? There's a lot of mentions of Trump, but again, nothing concrete, obviously. And here's another email that was not released by the Democrats, but I saw this on X earlier. And this basically proves that the liberal media, again, just another example, was helping Epstein, right? Because all these emails that I just went through, Michael Wolff, he's a journalist helping Epstein. And here's another journalist helping Epstein. This is Landon Thomas Jr., a financial reporter for the New York Times, emailing back and forth with Jeffrey Epstein in 2017. And this is about an investigation from former NYPD detective John Connolly into Jeffrey Epstein. And he said this. He, referring to New York NYPD detective, John Connolly, he is digging around again. Not clear if it's another book / or expanded paperback version, was asking me all sorts of questions about why you hired Ken Starr. I told him I had no idea. I think he is doing some Trump-related digging too. Anyway, for what it's worth, ... Again, using your New York Times email, because his email's redacted. I'm assuming it's his New York Times email. I don't know. But his email signature is New York Times reporter. Anyway, so clearly he's okay working with Epstein and tipping off Epstein. So again, which side of the political aisle do you really think is covering up for Epstein or helping Epstein? Clearly, members of the Democrat-run mainstream media were helping him and tipping him off this entire time. So if they had these emails, again, during the Biden DOJ, the Obama DOJ, why not release them, right? The one in 2011 I'm talking about. And then the ones after that. Why not release them? Why not use them to prevent Trump from running in 2016, 2020, or 2024? It's because there's nothing in them. There's nothing to tie Trump to any criminal activity at all. If anything, the only bad thing that you can say about this is Trump knew and he didn't say anything. Trump knew that this was going on with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and he didn't rat them out to the cops or something. But this proves more so that Democrats didn't give a F about the Epstein files or his victims until they thought Trump was in them. And again, we already knew that, but all of these emails and the timing of them just confirms that again, that they do not care about the victims. They care about Trump. Now, again, none of these implicate Trump in any way. There is no evidence that suggests that Trump did anything with underage girls. And who knows if these emails are legitimate. Now, I'm not trying to get conspiratorial, but again, we don't know. I have not independently confirmed them, but we also know that Democrats are capable of pulling shit out of thin air to get Trump. They've done it before. So again, it wouldn't be crazy to assume that they are capable of doing that. They are capable of doing that. So anyway, there's an effort in the House to force the DOJ to release everything on Epstein. And this is headed up by Congressman Thomas Massie on the right and Ro Khanna on the left. And basically, they are on the cusp of getting enough signatures to bypass Republican leadership and force a floor vote. And then if they did get these votes, 218 votes, they would then compel the Justice Department to release all the files, which again, they can only release what they have, right? So anything new, they would have to maybe launch a new investigation. But anyway, that doesn't even compelling them to release them wouldn't even, it wouldn't even make sure that they release them. I don't know how to say it, but just because you compel someone to do something doesn't mean that they're going to do it.
No, I mean, there's a judge sitting somewhere that requires his signature, and he's not going to sign off the release of kitty porn into the
So
world.
again, they're doing nothing. Basically, they're doing nothing, and we're not going to find anything out. There's not that this isn't new information, but Andy and I were talking about this before the show started, and he was like, nothing's new. All the new stuff is not new. We're not learning anything we haven't heard before. Even
those emails are fully corroborated by Trump's stories in official press conferences.
Totally.
Nothing in those emails contradict not only the full story, but the story that he's told us from his lips.
Right.
But somehow it's a scandal.
Right. I don't know what they're doing. It's crazy. So anyway, there's a Democrat, Adelita Grijalva. I'm totally messing up her name. But she won a special election in September. And I don't know, maybe there's been an update since the show started. But if she is sworn in, she said that she's going to sign it and be the 218th sign on to this petition. And therefore, then it would compel the DOJ to do something. But again, all they're doing is like poking the DOJ with a stick. Like they can't this doesn't mean anything. And then even if the House does pass this discharge petition, it would have to go to the Senate, and then the GOP-led Senate would have to pass it, and then Trump would have to sign it. And President Trump has said time and time again that he wants to move on from Epstein. So my guess is that, again, this is doing nothing. Like, it's just grandstanding. It's just a waste of time. It's just so that Democrats can say on paper that they tried to get this done, and it's not going to get done, and then they can blame Republicans for it, and they can blame Trump. And then, again, even if President Trump did sign it, he's not going to, but even if he did, the DOJ can't produce documents that they don't have. So, long story short, this means nothing. But even without evidence, Democrats are using these 3 emails as proof of Trump wrongdoing. And even Joe Scarborough had to put Massachusetts Congressman Seth Moulton in his place. And then he's doubling down on it on TikTok. Watch this.
I said some things this week that sparked a lot of controversy.
If you're a criminal, you're going to buy your way to freedom with Trump. If you are one of the people like him who took advantage of young girls with Jeffrey Epstein, then we're going to sort of make that go away. I mean, fundamentally, Speaker Johnson...
We don't have evidence that he took advantage of young girls with Jeffrey Epstein.
Right. Just common sense be damned.
I'm not saying common sense be damned. I'm saying facts. Let's look at the facts. Is he in the Epstein files?
He's obviously in the Epstein files.
So I just wanted to take this opportunity to say,
Trump.
I said what I said.
So a little Doja Cat edit there at the end from Seth Moulton. But again, he's pushing lies, unsubstantiated claims that President Trump was guilty of basically pedophilia, child sex trafficking, and having sex with underage girls. Again, these emails do not say that. And just because Trump's name is in documents, files, whatever, that is not a guilty verdict. It's not. Again, none of this means anything, and they're going on mainstream media. And again, Seth Moulton puts this out on TikTok. The left is probably eating it up. You go, and then again, a rumor is very hard to take back. Once people start believing it, it becomes true. So it's very dishonest and what's the word? Why can't I not speak tonight? I don't know. It's very
Trump
dishonest.
Wine?
What?
Too much Trump wine?
Yeah, I had Trump wine last night at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe that was it. Maybe. But it's just I can't think of the word. And it's right off the tip of my tongue. But it's just reckless, basically, for sitting members of Congress to push lies that have no basis and no facts, and then go on cable news. And I give Joe Scarborough credit for, reeling him in and saying, we don't know that. We have to look at the facts. Anyway, here's another crazy story from Senate Democrats. So Tammy Duckworth, one of her staffers, and this is according to U.S. Customs and Enforcement Acting Director Todd Lyons. He has found out that one of Tammy Duckworth's staffers told federal agents that he was representing an illegal alien. And this illegal alien had been deported 4 times to Mexico, and he also had a DUI conviction, which seems to be a trend with these illegal aliens. They're reckless drivers, they're drunk drivers, but anyway, pattern recognition. But anyway, this guy who works for Tammy Duckworth's office claimed that he was representing this illegal alien in court. So apparently this Tammy Duckworth staffer entered an ICE facility at the end of October and basically he said, my name is Edward York, and he's employed as a constituent outreach coordinator for Tammy Duckworth's office. And he went into this ICE facility and talked to a federal officer and said, I am this illegal alien's attorney. and tried to get him to sign some paperwork and basically falsified a DHS form. And he got this release order, and then the staffer tried to submit this form that was not legitimate because he's not actually this illegal alien's attorney. And then he met with him in person, didn't get the illegal alien to sign the document, but then still tried to submit it. And there's a law office in Illinois that basically like covered for this guy pretending to be a lawyer. So Suarez Law Office in Collinsville, Illinois, filed that paperwork that didn't have the signature on it. So it was like null and void. But that law office claimed that this Tammy Duckworth staffer worked for them. This is crazy. So Todd Lyons is saying to Tammy Duckworth's office, you need to respond to this no later than November 17th, and you need to give us answers about who this York guy is, what he does for your staff, and whether or not he knowingly lied on government documents, which of course he did. I mean, he's not a lawyer for this firm, and he works for Tammy Duckworth, and he went in to try to help an illegal alien evade deportation. Again, he's been deported 4 times, but a 5th deportation. Again, this is the left. Taking a quick break to tell you about some sponsors for tonight's show. Let's talk about real convenience without sacrificing quality. You already know I start my day with Blackout, and if you are like me and you need that caffeine fix fast in the morning, their coffee pods are a total game changer. These are not your average grocery store pods. Blackout pods are packed with fresh roasted bold coffee made right here in Florida, and they work with single-serve pod brewers. It is fast, it is easy, and it is delicious. You know, it's holiday time. It's holiday time, and I'm a big peppermint mocha girl, and especially around the holiday season, and they have got great holiday flavors. So go check them out. They're not bitter. They're not stale. You just, you get your little coffee pod, you pop it in, boom, you've got a smooth, strong cup of coffee in just seconds. So if you're racing out the door, this is going to be easy. It's going to be your new morning lifesaver. And the best part is they ship nationwide, so you don't have to live in Florida to get Florida fresh coffee, and it'll be at your door in just days. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/scroll or use code SCROLL at checkout for 20% off your first order. Also want to tell you about Birch Gold. It is the one time of the year that Birch Gold Group gives away free gold with every qualifying purchase. That's right. For Black Friday, when you convert an existing IRA or a 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold, Birch Gold will send free gold to your home for every $20,000 purchase. Look, gold started this year around $2,600 an ounce. By October, it was over $4,000 an ounce. Why? Because global uncertainty. 2025 has been defined by trade wars, central banks are pulling from the US dollar, and the global reserve currency and military tension still continues to build. So gold thrives in times of uncertainty. And if you're looking to diversify your savings, Birch Gold can help you. Plus, now through November 28th, get free gold with a qualifying purchase. Just text code SCROLL to 989898 to claim your eligibility for a free info kit on gold. But your opportunity for free gold with purchase ends on November 28th, so don't wait. Text SCROLL to the number 989898 for full details. Message and data rates apply. All right, so I've been covering this story for a while now, but it is about this Gold's Gym situation in LA where Tish Hyman, she is a frequent gym goer at this gym, and she went into the gym and she's had multiple run-ins with this trans individual that pretends to be a woman and wears red lipsticks to the gym, which I've told you time and time again is ridiculous. I'm a woman that goes to the gym. I've never put lipstick on before going. Not once, not ever. So she goes into the locker room and has another run-in, a violent run-in with this trans individual. And we've now since figured out that he is very violent and beat his wife, his ex-wife, and took her name. So this guy goes by Alexis now, which is his ex-wife's name that he beat. Totally crazy, obviously mentally ill and violent and dangerous. And Gold's Gym sided with the tranny because it's in California. So, of course. And now Tish Hyman has kind of become radicalized on this issue, which I'm happy about. She's been speaking out online about her experience and how men are men and women are women, and it's just common sense. And this is coming from a Democrat. And she went to go speak with California State Senator Scott Wiener, and this is their exchange. I can't believe this is real. Watch this.
Senator Wiener, as the only black lesbian here, can I please ask you a question because I flew here to do that? Yeah. Okay. As a lesbian woman who was attacked in the women's locker room at Gold's Gym this week by a self-identifying trans woman with a documented history of domestic violence, I'm deeply concerned about women's safety in female-only spaces. What would you say to women who are seeking assurance that their safety will be protected from men who, by California law, can self-ID as women in women-only spaces, sir? Please tell me.
Yeah, so we want, everyone to be safe, and we also know that, we have trans people, both men and women, who are men and women.
What the hell?
So if you're trans women are women.
Senator, you've done great things with the bills you've passed with the housing. I've read a lot of your bills, and like you said, there are bills that need to be opened up, and I'm telling you now, millions of women across America are being harassed and sexually assaulted in locker rooms. I'm a lesbian black woman. I'm not transphobic. I'm not homophobic. And I do respect a lot of the things you've done. But I do see a lot of these bills that you've passed that are dangerous for women and young children. And I understand that you're trying to be on a level playing field. And I'm here to represent my community because I hear a lot of things about my community in these bills. And I'm telling you as a woman, first and foremost, that this is dangerous and we need your help because you're in the office, you're gonna go in the Polisky spot. I wanna support you. I have millions of people behind me watching this right now, and we wanna know, are you going to protect women? Not trans women, women. Trans women are different things. Women. Listen, we need to protect women's safety. I was assaulted. I was assaulted. No, they are not. They are men.
Goodness.
I was assaulted by men. He broke his wife's jaw so bad she needed reconstructive surgery. I'm a lesbian. I'm not transphobic and I'm black. So if there's another black woman in here who wants to tell me how they feel, please join in. But all of you are not. And I don't know who you are, what you are, but I'm a lesbian, and I'm telling you right now, men are harassing women in the locker room.
Let's let him answer the question.
All right, so I don't care that she's a lesbian or black, but again, this is a Democrat, and I appreciate that she's seeing the light, for sure. And she's getting in there and she's talking to this state senator and trying to get him to realize that men are men and women are women, and men who are mentally ill are identifying as women and accessing women's spaces, and then they're being violent. This is a problem, and it's a growing problem. And someone in the chat said that people should just boycott Gold's Gym. This is not a Gold's Gym problem. This is a California state law problem. There are states in this country that protect trans people. These are companies like, another good example? During COVID, I worked at Fox News Channel in New York City. And New York state law and city law said that if you operate a business in this city, we are going to fine you $14,000 for every employee that isn't vaccinated for the COVID-19 vaccine. That was not a Fox News decision. That is a decision because they operate in a state, a blue state. So does that make sense? Like, this isn't a Gold's Gym policy where, they're actively attacking women and they want women to feel unsafe. They probably feel like they're in between a rock and a hard place because they probably feel badly about this, but they're following state law. So this is why the state laws have to change, and this is why Tish Hyman is going to talk to these state legislatures. This is where the change happens. And unfortunately, his response to a woman being assaulted by a trans woman is to repeat the bald-faced lie that trans women are women and trans men are men. You can't negotiate with these people. They firmly believe that a false reality. And it's so disrespectful. And this is why women are not safe in their spaces. But I hope this issue not only radicalizes her, and I notice in this video that she's wearing an XXXY shirt, which is that company that was started by Jennifer Say, and Riley Gaines does great work with them. Again, she is being radicalized on this one issue. And I hope that this issue radicalizes not just Tish Hyman, but other Democrat women who used to stand for women, right? The Democrat Party used to stand for women, and now they don't. They stand for men who pretend to be women. It's like crazy. It's misogynistic if you think about it. But I hope that her speaking out about this, maybe someone's mind was changed in that room. You know, a lot of the people in that room started booing her, but maybe one mind was changed, and maybe it takes one black lesbian to stand up in a room with a full of Democrats and say, I'm a black lesbian, because this is the stuff that, you know, makes sense to them. She's speaking their language, and says, you know, hey, listen to me. And maybe that'll change some minds on the left. But they've messaged their so-called support for women so well on the left that so many people are brainwashed into thinking that that's the party that is protecting women, and is a lie, and people need to wake up. I also want to tell you about this congressional race in New York. This is for New York's 12th district, and JFK's grandson is running for Jerry Nadler's old congressional seat, and he's running with the slogan, Jack for New York. Does anyone in the chat want to tell me why that's a bad slogan? Jack for New York? It might as well say jack shit for New York. I'm going to do jack shit for New York. I have jack shit experience in politics. The only job, I was looking this up before the show, the only job that I think he's ever had or that I could find, was a political consultant for Vogue magazine back in 2024. And he's known as a journalist. I don't know what journalism he's doing, but being a political consultant for Vogue magazine, which is super woke, by the way, that does not make you a journalist. That's like a fun little side gig for a Nepo baby that's never had to work a day in his life. But now he's going to run for Congress because, you know, New York City, they have demonstrated that they vote for Nepo babies with no experience, i.e. Zohran Mamdani. Although I will say Mamdani has a little more experience than Jack Schlossberg. But, you know, Jack has made a name for himself on social media by making RFK Jr. his prime target. And the Kennedy family as a whole has denounced RFK Jr. They think, you know, the health stuff and the Tylenol stuff and the vaccine stuff and the autism stuff, it's all crazy. And they hate that he works for Trump. So I don't know if you remember this, but during the election, they all wrote, they penned an open letter to RFK Jr. being like, we hate you, basically. So Jack Schlossberg, he has not said some nice things about RFK Jr. He is on tape calling him a rabid dog. Listen to this.
Caged one and put it in his cabinet, a rabid dog in his cabinet, put a collar on my cousin RFK Jr. and has him there barking, spreading lies and spreading misinformation.
You were the first member of your family to come out and criticize him publicly.
I love how she doesn't even
What do you say to
that?
voters who now see the Kennedy name and associate it with your cousin's policies?
I don't think there's anything anyone can do to change what JFK, my grandparents, my mom, my Uncle John stood for. Nobody's that powerful. But RFK Jr. is a dangerous person who has making life and death decisions as Secretary of Health and Human Services. And you don't just have to take my word for it. Now we have an actual record to go on. He has cut a quarter of the people who work in his agency. He fired all the vaccine experts on the panel and replaced them with anti-vaxxers. He's cutting funding for life-saving research, cancer patients, giving them their last hope. And people should know, I mean, when he's not making infomercials for Steak and Shake and Coca-Cola, he's spreading misinformation and lies that are leading to deaths around the country. There's a measles outbreak in America right now, higher than it's been in 40 years as a direct result of what he has done.
Yeah, so Jack Schlossberg, not very nice things about HHS Secretary RFK Jr., his cousin, but he's also been on the record mocking Melania Trump. Watch this.
Dear President Putin, every child shares the same quiet dreams in their heart, whether born randomly into nation's rustic countryside or magnificent city center. They dream of love, possibility, and safety from danger. As parents, our duty is to nurture next generation hope. As leader, the responsibilities to sustain our children extend beyond the comfort of a few. Undeniably, we must strive to paint dignity-filled world for all, so that every soul...
And you may remember, I covered this, maybe this was after the debate with J.D. Vance. He was very enamored with Usha Vance. He was asking her to leave JD for him. So here's a trip down memory lane just to show you again that this man is not normal. Watch. On Usha, I think despite what Democrats say, Jen Psaki, Jack Schlossberg, they all think that Usha Vance is like she's got a gun to her head as if she didn't marry him willingly. But yeah, so this person is obviously not normal. However, I think he's probably got a really good shot in New York City. So I hate to break it to everyone, but this is probably we're going to be referring to him as Congressman Jack Schlossberg. And yeah, he does have quite the digital footprint. And that's the thing with these younger politicians. I don't know how anyone's going to run for office and not be totally embarrassed by what they've posted on the internet. I mean, there's a treasure trove of Oppo research on everyone. Any young person who runs for office is just screwed, but he is particularly screwed because he's got screws loose and he posts his inner dialogues about, everything on TikTok. So I guess we can look forward to the content that is to come when he's probably a congressman one day and we'll be covering him. But until then, we can cover Jasmine Crockett. So this is crazy because Jasmine Crockett's spending habits are raising eyebrows, mine included. But here's the headline out of Fox News. Far-left firebrand spends eye-popping amount of campaign cash on luxury hotels, top-tier limo services. And it said that she has spent $50,000 on private security, despite wanting to defund the police, of course, because you have to, if you're a Democrat, you don't walk the walk, you just talk the talk. So all you have to say is, I support defunding the police, but then, you have enough money and I guess campaign finances to spend on private security. And the lowly, sorry people who are your constituents, they don't have that luxury. And it's hypocritical. But not only has she spent $50,000 on private security, she has spent $75,000 in total on luxury hotels and limo services. So she's only been this is like her second term, I think. So maybe she's in her third year. $75,000 in total, $25,000 already this year. And here's the breakdown. She has spent over $4,000 at the Ritz-Carlton. She has spent over $2,300 at the Luxury Collection, and other hotel expenses include over $5,000 to the West Hollywood Edition in Los Angeles, $1,000 to the Times Square Edition in New York City, and over $2,000 to the Cosmopolitan and Aria Resort in Las Vegas, $2,700 to the Edgartown Inn, and $3,100 in the Coco in Martha's Vineyard. So $75,000 in total, $25,000 this year. Whew! That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Someone in the chat said, where'd she get the money? Campaign. She's using these campaign finances. So maybe she's expensing this as like a work trip. But again, she represents Texas. And she should be in Texas and the swamp. But apparently she's all over Kingdom Come. She's in New York City. She's in Vegas. She's partying it up in Martha's Vineyard. I mean, think about it. Why are you at all of these things? Maybe fundraising events or whatever. She's going to finagle her way to, write this off. She's not going to have to pay for it. Oh, this is a campaign thing. Oh, I can say that this was like a work event. So she's clearly, fudging this.
There's no Red Roof Inn on that list. I didn't see a Red Roof Inn or a Howard Johnson.
No. Yeah, there's no economy hotels or lodging. That's for sure. And this is another reason why I think Not that it would really sway someone who's super corrupt, but I think there needs to be term limits where at some point you can't get reelected. Because if you only know that you have 2 years or 4 years or 6 years or 8 years max to make a difference in your community, and there's an end in sight, wouldn't you work that much harder to make a difference? If you care about your legacy as a public servant who actually got stuff done while being in office, I think it would force them to be more productive in the short amount of time that they have. Maybe they would take less trips. But I feel like these people, they know that it's a popularity contest, so they can just keep getting elected as long as they, go on CNN and say that white people are bad. Her constituents will follow her and like her and support her.
I mean, it's either that or the grift goes exponentially faster.
Right.
And she's at a Ritz every night.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
She tries to maximize her time of taxpayer-funded Ritz-Carlton stays.
That's another point too. But I think that these people are so vain. They care about their legacy. Like, you wouldn't want your legacy to just be, hey, I was in Congress for 4 years and I dicked around and went to Vegas.
And made $50 million.
Right. But again, that's why I said in the beginning, I don't think this would deter someone who's super corrupt. But I think a lot of these people are very vain. And if they care about making a good impression, then it would maybe force them to, maybe take a vacation here and there. I think it's fine for people to take a vacation, but to be staying at the nicest, ritziest hotel in Las Vegas, like, what is Jasmine Crockett doing there? Let's think about that. So I don't know. If I had a time limit on how long I was going to stay in office, I would personally put my head down and work hard. But I know working is a real sticking point for these people in Congress. If they're not on vacation, they shut the fucking government down and then they're never working anyway. It's literally like, think about it. They took such a long break in August. They came back and it was like, oh, government's shut down. They didn't work for a whole month in August. And then they came back for September and they were like, all right, 40 days vacation. Let's get at it.
I'm glad they represent the common working man.
It's just ridiculous. These people just don't work. And yes, there's another annual F-bomb in the chat. Literally, anytime I drop an F-bomb, I've never seen Andy move faster. He moves so fast to the chat and he's like, annual F-bomb. Anyway, it's the rules for the not for me in Congress. And when it comes to the shameless Democrats in the mainstream media, they think that they're superior and they talk down to Republicans. It's super out of touch. And here is Abby Phillip, CNN's Abby Phillip. She went on Joy Reid's show and here's what she had to say. Watch.
Conservatives are living in a completely different information world than liberals. And breaking that down needs to be done. Because when you don't ever even hear the facts, it's hard to even know that you're wrong. And that happens a lot. I mean, half my job sometimes is knowing what the latest conspiracy is, so that if it comes up, I'm ready to address it. Because it happens a lot where people don't even know that what they're saying or what they've seen and believe is not true. And so that happens a lot. And I don't come away from that saying, what's the point of this? People are just saying false things. I think that one time that person brings up something that is debunked and false and I debunk it at the table might be the very first time that someone out there has heard an alternative point of view.
My God. When she's saying Republicans live in a different information world, I will say I watch a ton of clips of this show. And my brain melts when I watch it. And she's also claiming that Republicans don't follow any factual news sources. And this is coming from CNN. So someone on CNN quite literally thinks that you're smart if you listen to CNN and you're dumb if you listen to Fox News. And you have to be dumb to know that CNN and Fox News are way closer than they are apart. They cover different sides of politics, but CNN and Fox are the same. They're the same. So it's just rich to hear someone from CNN look at Fox News and be like, oh, these people, these Republicans, like they don't listen to any facts at all. Come on. Anyway, they truly believe that they're morally superior, and it's just disgusting. And lest we forget that Abby Phillip called Charlie Kirk a fascist 2 days before he was shot in the neck. I love to just bring that point back up so that nobody forgets. Because she can sit up on her freaking high horse and say that, you know, she's working at the Facts First Network and anyone who doesn't watch CNN is misinformed. But anyone who's watching CNN is finding out false information on her show, thanks to her. So, all right, we've got 9 minutes left. Should we do some scrolling time? Let's get into it. Planned for the show. I didn't get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things. I really stacked the show today and thought that I would not have, I don't know. I went long, but
there's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. Okay. So I love when cops get involved in some tomfoolery, when they're called to a case and then, you know, this in particular, this cop, he was called because someone was riding a bull in a shopping center, and then this is what happened. Watch.
If I'm reading this right, is he riding like an actual real bull?
That's signal 4.
Okay.
I have so many questions. What?
This is Gus. Gus is famous.
It's in the Tractor Supply parking lot, of course.
Absolutely. You can get on, Gus, if you want to.
Oh.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, dude, what in the world? Yeah, here, you take a picture on my phone. Oh, let's hope I don't
The
lose
cop
all that.
is now on the bull and asking the bull owner to take his photo on the bull. And the thumbs up. I love it. I think it's so fun.
I find great joy in imagining the response of the whatever Karen called the cops.
Right, I know.
To see him show up and ride the bull.
He's like, let me take care of this one. Everyone step aside. I've got this one. And he's like, a bull? I'm gonna ride that thing. As a matter of fact, you're not in trouble. And I think when he pulled up, he was like, no, you're good. You're good. You're not doing anything wrong. This was at the Tractor Supply in Pinedale, Wyoming, by the way. So that's normal. Oh, wait.
Yeah, the store whose official policy is all animals are welcome.
This might be a different one. It says if you spotted riding a bull through the parking lot in Pinedale, Wyoming, yeah, I think that's it. And then another article says it was an Ohio cop. That's odd. No. More news. Oh. No, then 2 articles. Some say Wyoming, some say Ohio. Maybe it's Ohio. Interesting. Yeah, it's Ohio. Anyway, my mistake. Ohio. But that's hilarious. I love to see cops having fun on the job. It's not all bad. Cops are not all bad. They're good people. All right. We have covered this.
Someone in the chat said one of the articles is bull.
Hilarious. I love a good pun. Yes, one of the articles is bull. All right. We have talked about this Neo robot on this show, and I have talked about it in my tinfoil hat time segment where there's this $20,000 robot that you can have do chores around your house. And if you're not going to drop $20,000 to own it, you can drop $500 a month, a subscription service to have this robot. And it's operated by a human being. So you put this robot in your house and it can see your house. This is crazy. This is like when people complain about having an Amazon Alexa or like our phones listening to them. People are paying $20,000 or $500 a month to have a literal spy in your house, which is crazy. But this comedian did a skit on Neo and it's hilarious. Watch this.
I love dishwasher. I love dishwasher.
Neo, stop. Neo, can you take the dog out?
Yes, master.
Thank you.
Be
Yes,
gentle with him.
master.
Thank you, Neo. Neo, stop!
Dog goes outside.
Down the stairs.
Throw dog downstairs?
No, take the dog for a walk.
Now he's
whoa!
vacuuming
Neo, what are
very
you
slow.
doing?
He's got a knife.
This is take an end, master.
Yeah, just in general, not literally end.
So you don't want me to end your life?
No. Put the knife down, Neo, please.
Are you sure, Master?
Yes!
Whew, this was fun.
Master,
We should do it again.
You are quite a whore, aren't you?
Neo, what are you doing?
You should probably get tested, and you too.
I beg you.
You were the 5th this week.
Don't out me like that, please.
I will make an appointment for you to get tested, Master. No, he's disgusting! I walked in a few hours ago, elbow deep in someone I've never even...
Neo?
Hello, Master.
Who's that?
The Neo robot gossiping about his owner on the phone with who knows, I don't know. But yeah, I will not be getting a robot. I'll do my own chores, certainly because it's operated by another human being. And if it's being operated by another human being, but it's doing such a bad job, like the robot, and we played this video on the show, I think it was last week, the Wall Street Journal did a whole piece on Neo, and in the piece, they were asking Neo to do these household chores, like load the dishwasher, and it takes him 5 minutes, and he's like moving very slowly. And if a human being is operating the robot, wouldn't you be better off paying $500 a month for someone, a real person, to help you?
Oh,
like
we've just gone full circle back to servantry.
100%.
This is servantry by proxy.
Right. But it's like, oh, I guess people can feel better about having a robot slave.
They don't got to look the Indian man in the face as he pilots the robot around their house.
So it's just ridiculous. All right. This next one, this little girl. This little girl and her pet guinea pig. Well, her pet guinea pig got into it with a snake, and she was trying to help the guinea pig. Watch this.
Rosie was in her backyard when she saw her pet guinea pig being attacked by a snake.
She is
There wasn't enough time to call for backup or a snake catcher, so the brave 12-year-old decided to take matters into her own hands. She started swinging the reptile around to dislodge the guinea pig from its jaws.
Just got this instinct, and I didn't even think through. I was just like, grab the snake. While I was swinging around, Dad comes out, the family comes out, everyone's still in their pajamas.
So let me get this straight. That is the snake
She's
she's
holding
swinging,
the snake,
and that's
yes.
that white thing. That's
and then
the
her
guinea
dad
pig.
comes over and intervenes and then tosses the snake away, and the guinea pig.
So, moral of the story, the guinea pig's fine. The dad came and helped to get the guinea pig out of the snake's mouth. But not before this little girl gave her guinea pig the ride of its life, going round and round and round. And, you know, the guinea pig is probably like, my neck is in the clutches of this snake's mouth, right? I'm in this snake's mouth. How could this day get any worse? And then the guinea pig is in the snake's mouth, and it's getting whipped around in a circle over and over again. Someone in the chat said, is it real or AI? You know what? I guess we'll never know. But this was an Australian news source, so I think...
Oh, it's that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Australia makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Australia's got some crazy wildlife situations.
And crazy young girls, too, apparently. That's ballsy, man. Props to her.
Yeah. She is ballsy. Did she go about it the right way? No, but I think she had the right intentions in her heart, for sure. And, you know, the guinea pig made it out okay. So thank goodness. Someone in the chat said, yeah, I would kill the snake. My first instinct is not going to like pick up the snake and like, you know, helicopter.
Teach the snake a physics lesson.
my guinea pig around. But I would maybe step on the snake, try to kill the snake.
Grab a shovel.
You know, that's just me. Anyway, thank you for scrolling along with me. I've got so much content for tomorrow's show, so you have to tune in tomorrow. And of course, you can follow me at Hayley Caronia, HayleyCaronia, on social media for all the content in between. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye.